I have been into Zen, Symbolism, and more spirituality for 40 some years, and also my work with the companies to transform. The essence of this, whether it's organization or individual, in my case, conceptually, there's something quite similar because we are talking about awakening of organization with liveliness, people engaged, have meaning in what they do at work, but also in life. So I've written books, and for example, the idea of the mini company is discussed in two books, one with the foreword by the Dalai Lama. It's talking about each person or unit manager, department manager, whatever, or the levels of organization, find their work as the president of the area of responsibility, all the way to the shop floor people. So they can have a mission, they can have the customer supplier understanding of who they are, relationship, and the KPI, and go through the plan, do, check, act cycle of continuously improving, so that each unit, department, division, and all the company, they all use the same idea and connect with the idea of the glassful management. So what this does is to not just the top down or bottom up, but also horizontally and diagnostically too, have the open communication, transparency to identify the area, what's important, and address it. It's a very simple idea, but takes time. So for one company to go through may take 3, 4, 5, 6 years to get the whole transformation to happen. And I've done for 40 some years. And individually, within myself, I see not mini company, but the mini me and the mini me, hierarchy. So it could be about the work, hobby, relationship, health, or finance. And I also add the being sincere and truthful as the sixth element that I monitor as a KPI to manage my life. And every 3 months or so I review what's going on and highlight red and green and what to be done. So the same idea in the organization applies to the individual's case. And those ideas, some are in the book, the other life profile and the other ideas that I'm going to explain, it's all in the YouTube. And this life profile idea, I shared, I think, maybe 15 years ago or so. But personally, I'm doing it for the last 25, 23 years, 24 years, something like that. It's just monitoring how things are going and then keep tracking and then making sure I'm living life in a meaningful manner, sincerely and truthfully. So that's the longer range of the plan, do, check, act, review cycle to identify what's going on, highlight, prioritize, develop plans, execute, and stuff like that. I did it because after the awakening that took place in the year 2000, the idea pops up that I need to keep track and make sure that I'm living my life accordingly. So if there's any interest about this, there's a video if you check life profile in my YouTube channel. And then I also implemented the idea, this one is called the black dot exercise, which is a day-to-day monitor of the situation. So life profile every 3 months or so. And black dot is, first idea was to check suffering. If there's a problem mentally, you put the black dot. Some are bigger, some are small. So every day I monitor that. But along with this daily check and the content, I may just have one line to describe what's going on. I also added like health-related parameters just to share the funny thing, but it's not funny because I wake up in the middle of the night to go pee. So I even monitor how many times I wake up and go to pee. And reviewing it, and if it's important, make it visible. So I figured out, and now it's almost once a day or so, once a night, by disciplining myself and paying attention to work out. And there are lots of interesting stuff I found, and that I also shared in the YouTube video. So that's just the one element, but there's also exercise, what kind of exercise I do, how many times. And the more recent one I'm adding in one of the columns is that my Swedish friend inspired me to do this push-up. He does it 200 times a day. So I cannot do 200 times, but I start to do like at 17 and now 30 push-up and 4 times a day. So just adding up all of those. And there are other areas, and then talking about the key event of the day. And on the right is the health-related issue. There are some issues that I want to keep reminding, whether the toothache or headache or stiffness in the back, and highlighting so that I have the record of this, like maybe 10 years, every month, 30, 31 days, and all the dots. And the black dot is not as important because things are working out well. But at the beginning, that was interesting because I want to know if there's a relationship of how much I do the meditation and if there's a correlation to the black dot, to the length and the frequency of meditation. So that's another one. So life profile and this black dot exercise. Again, you can check on my YouTube channel if you're interested. And then I also talked about the 1 minute meditation. This one, I don't have any record, but the idea was like when I was even visiting my client, and if the conference, the discussion is too long and boring, then I start to kind of open my eyes and just have a quiet, calm and quiet mind for 1 minute. It doesn't matter if 1 minute to 30 seconds, but just to maintain you are grounded instead of getting lost in the discussion. You can still listen what's going on, but you can also have the connection to the heart, meaning that you are grounded and you can, for example, have this breathing and the inner body sensation is made clear that I'm connected at the ground level instead of getting lost. So that's the 1 minute meditation. I'm sure I have posted on that one somewhere in my YouTube. And recently, this is a 10-second rule, I call it. And the idea is interesting because why it happened, I cannot tell. But because I wanted to keep track of what's going on without getting lost and be aware more often than not. And when I start to pay attention to, again, the breathing and the inner body sensation, one of the ideas that came up, triggered by Huberman, there was a guy who said something about the 10 seconds. The idea for him was something different about the learning and the productivity, but I switched that 10 second, that idea. is also applicable to refresh, reboot your mind, be grounded, because things happen in a day, news, phone call, email, and you finish certain tasks instead of jumping A to B to C and busy. Just break up a day multiple times and have 10 seconds doing nothing. Let's do 10 seconds now. Just like that. And then everybody's case could be different, but I can see much more because of the history, and what I have been doing may have helped me a lot. But the connection to the root, meaning that I feel transparent, and even the vibration, the waku waku is the word I often use. That's another word that I used in the video. But waku waku meaning the life energy is kind of like a fountain within myself bubbling up, so that you feel there's a connection to our root, my core. And sometimes it can come quickly. And I've noticed that many times, especially after my awakening experience, so that I'm friendly with that, event of me connecting to this vibration and the lively sense that I can get. So some people may not get such an idea, but even you don't get any vibrating sense or connection to your body, inner body sensation, just, I call it the no mind, empty mind, and no self. Those are another words that I used and posted in various videos, which is basically not to be confined in the mind or the brain, but we have this deep unconscious part of memories and activities going on, just like the body would operate. Heart, lung, kidney, they help each other without the brain getting into the way. So that is also applicable in terms of work and 10 seconds break. Instead of going, you can break up, and what it happens in that 10 seconds, I call 10 seconds samadhi, is that instead of the attention to certain part of the brain, 10 seconds to let it kind of diffuse, to be able to see that you are alive and connected to the root. It's very difficult to explain what this means, but basically you have the sensation of breathing and the inner body cells working, and that give me a sense of I'm living, waku waku. And it may not come very deep in the meditation, but it's okay just to break up and then back to work or do whatever the task you have to do. So 4 ideas I shared: life profile, black dot, 1 minute meditation, and 10-second rule of samadhi. They're all orienting, but in a different frequency, that I'm monitoring what's going on. I'm connected at the root and don't get lost. And when I get lost, I can go back. Every 3 months, every day, and multiple times in a day for mini meditation or 10-second samadhi. Awakening is just the event, but the name of the game is, in the other video I mentioned about the middle way. We use different parts of the brain and we need to navigate well. So we need to have a good sense of, like a mirror mind is the word I used. I have those video too. That you see yourself what you're doing. And you need to have the, I believe it helps you to know what's going on. And this is, again, not just using the brain only, but connecting to the heart, listening to the heart at the same time. As Dalai Lama mentioned to one of my books called The Result from the Heart in the foreword. And he's precisely to the point. And maybe you can see it as a game. To me, it's a very important game. And the foundation is being sincere and truthful. And that's the way I live. So that was the last 10 seconds. Have a good day.